Have you ever stared out at the calm ocean and wondered what lurks beneath its surface? The oil industry thrives on these vast expanses, but the reality for workers is far from idyllic.
There are reports of people in the water.
Gigantic rigs, marvels of engineering, become steel tombs when disaster strikes. Today we delve into the chilling true stories of Alexander L. Keeland and Ocean Ranger, colossal oil rigs claimed by the unforgiving sea. We'll explore the design flaws, human error, and harrowing fight for survival that unfolded on these doomed platforms. First, we'll explore the Ocean Ranger oil rig disaster, a catastrophic event in 1982 off the Canadian Atlantic Ocean. This tragedy not only shook the oil industry, but also significantly changed safety regulations. The Ocean Ranger, a behemoth among drilling rigs, launched in 1976. It was designed by Odeco for offshore oil exploration. This self-propelled marvel, 120 meters long, boasted a semi-submersible design for superior stability. Unlike traditional ships, it wasn't at the mercy of the waves. Instead, massive underwater pontoons, controlled by complex systems of pumps and valves, kept the drilling deck high and dry. This innovative feature made the Ocean Ranger a stable operation platform. It had been previously deployed in Alaska, New Jersey, and Ireland before arriving at the Grand Banks Hibernia field in 1980. On February 14, 1982, the Ocean Ranger was hard at work drilling with 84 souls on board, over half of them from Newfoundland in Canada. At 8 a.m., weather reports warned of a fierce winter storm with battering winds and towering waves. The rig continued operations until 4:30 p.m., then secured its drill pipe and hunkered down for the approaching storm. By 7 p.m., the ocean began stirring furiously and waves became bigger and bigger. A nearby oil rig reported a freakishly large wave causing minor damage. Shortly after, the Ocean Ranger was also battling these monstrous waves. It suffered from broken glass, water intrusion, and malfunctioning controls. At 9 p.m., they confirmed a minor window breakage in the ballast area, but nothing serious. As the storm finally subsided, a final routine weather report at 11:30 p.m. from the rig offered no hint of the impending disaster. At around 1 a.m. on that night, the senior manager of the Ocean Ranger reported to shore that the rig was tilting. Shortly after, the Ocean Ranger contacted the Seaforth Highlander, a supply vessel on standby, asking it to come closer due to emergency. By 1:10 a.m., however, the Ocean Ranger was broadcasting mayday calls as the rig was now fully at the ocean's mercy. The last communication from the rig came at 1:30 a.m. when the radio operator announced that the crew was heading to lifeboats and scrambling for their lives. The situation was now quickly escalating into a severe emergency. Two nearby rigs sent their standby vessels to assist, but the violent storm made progress difficult, and the search for survivors was even more challenging. At 2:21 a.m., a rescue vessel saw flares from a lifeboat and scrambled to help them. They were able to get close enough to the lifeboat to attach a line to it, but shortly after, the rough seas broke the line and capsized the lifeboat. Despite their efforts, the raging ocean did not allow them to rescue anyone from the sea. Glimmers of hope faded around 2:45 a.m. Another rescue vehicle had spotted the Ocean Ranger, listing heavily and battered by waves. The deck was completely deserted and all lifeboats were missing. Slowly, radar contact with the oil rig faded, as it slowly sank and became fully submerged. A desperate search yielded only fragments of tragedy, empty lifeboats, life rafts, and debris. The storm claimed all 84 on board, 46 crew, and 38 contractors. No survivors emerged from the icy grip of the North Atlantic. Only 22 bodies were ever recovered, and all had succumbed to hypothermia. The Ocean Ranger disaster prompted a significant wake-up call for the oil industry. The Royal Commission on the Ocean Ranger marine disaster, established on March 17, 1982, investigated the causes of the sinking and the crew's fatalities. The Commission's thorough inquiry over 2 years. As a result, they identified several critical issues with the Ocean Ranger, including design flaws like a shattered port light and non-waterproof chain lockers. They also stated that the crew's lack of understanding of emergency procedures, particularly regarding the ballast control system, inadequate life-saving equipment, and insufficient training, were significant factors in the tragedy. This accident had a great impact on the design and safety standards of future oil rigs, and also led to stricter safety regulations and enhanced training requirements. Unfortunately, however, this did not stop future accidents in the oil field industry. Now we turn our attention to another significant disaster. The Alexander Kielland capsized in the Norwegian North Sea in 1980. The rig was owned by the Stavanger Drilling Company and leased to Phillips Petroleum during the incident. On the evening of March 27, 1980, the region faced harsh weather conditions with driving rains, waves reaching up to 12 meters, and winds around 40 knots. Over 200 people were off duty on the Alexander Kielland, which had been moved away from the leading production platform due to the storm. Around 6:30 p.m., several survivors described hearing a loud bang or crack, which was soon followed by the rig trembling and beginning to tilt. This alarming situation arose after 5 of the rig's anchor cables snapped, leaving only one to provide stability. The last cable failed just 20 minutes later, causing the rig to capsize. By then, 130 men had already assembled at the mess hall and emergency assembly points. 4 lifeboats were launched into the chaos as the platform capsized. However, only one was successfully detached from the lowering cables. Thankfully, one more dislodged itself from the platform and was used to collect survivors. Several smaller life rafts were deployed, including 2 from the nearby Ida platform. Nearby supply boats managed to rescue a few individuals, and some survivors swam through the freezing and turbulent waters to reach the safety of the Ida platform. Despite these efforts, the tragedy resulted in the loss of 123 lives. Investigators pinpointed the cause of a faulty weld on a support brace, which led to a crack that grew over time. Crucially, the report also revealed a lapse in leadership that could have allowed for a more successful evacuation. The head of Norway's Petroleum Safety Authority was stated as saying, "The accident fundamentally changed our industry and nation. Since 1980, safety has been paramount. Clear government oversight, regulations, and company accountability ensure worker safety every day."